Welcome to my B&B Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. Steffy leaks Liam's grim fate to Hope, goes behind ex's back. Steffy Forrester went behind Hope Logan's back after learning that she had leaked Liam Spencer's dire fate to the bold and the beautiful. Let's talk about the drama from the B&B episode on Wednesday. At Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp summoned Brooke Logan to complain about the possibility of Hope going back to Carter Walton. Deacon didn't think Carter and Hope were a good match, but when he found them, he stopped himself from getting out of control all over again. Deacon needed to let their daughter make her own romantic decisions, according to Brooke, who remained convinced that Carter loved Hope. However, Deacon piped up about Liam and tried to sell Brooke on Hope's revived future with him. Daphne Rose had a hunch at Forrester Creations that Carter was having a hard time moving on from Hope, because he felt he was to blame for her being fired from the company. Although Daphne felt Carter should let go, Carter still wanted to bring Hope back to Forrester and reunite with her romantically. Carter eventually called Hope to remind her that he wasn't giving up on all that, and he didn't want her to give up either. Hope was able to tell that Liam was thinking about something at Brooke's house, and she was curious about the purpose of this visit. Liam pushed for more time with Beth Spencer, and was appreciative when Hope happily approved of the idea. Hope, on the other hand, questioned Liam once more about his arrangement for the Cliff House, but Liam remained silent about his brain tumor. Liam eventually headed back to Steffy and John Finnegan's place, where he admitted he couldn't burden Hope with the truth. Steffy left after privately informing Finn that she was taking matters into her own hands. Later, Liam told Finn that he had to do things his way, but he didn't know that Steffy was going to say something to Hope across town. Hope was taken aback by Steffy's visit back at Brooke's house. Steffy said this wasn't about business and asked if they were alone, so Hope seemed unsettled, especially once Steffy turned on the waterworks. Steffy struggled to find the words since she was still processing it all, so she was really starting to scare Hope. After Steffy confessed this was about Liam, she revealed the news that he was dying and gave Hope a shock. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Steffy will have some other horrible predictions and medical details for Hope soon enough, so Hope will get some difficult updates. Luna's sneaky visit brings hope to Liam's brain tumor. The bold and the beautiful reveal that Hope Logan will reel over Liam Spencer's brain tumor, while Luna Nozawa makes a sneaky John Finnegan visit. At Brooke Logan's place, Steffy Forrester just showed up and delivered a shocker to Hope. Now that Steffy's blurted out that Liam is dying, Hope's going to have plenty of questions on Thursday's B&B episode. Naturally, Hope may initially be perplexed by the news. Despite Steffy's insistence that Liam is facing a grim fate, Hope may argue that there must be some mistake. However, Steffy will tell Hope the whole terrible story, starting with Liam's collapse, brain bleed and the emergency surgery he needed. That led to the discovery of Liam's inoperable mass, so Hope will have a lot to wrap her head around. Steffy will admit she doesn't want to believe it either, but Liam is indeed facing a fatal prognosis. Since Liam has been facing such bleak predictions from his medical team, Steffy and Hope will bond over this tragic tumor situation. It'll be hard for Hope to even think about losing Liam, so Steffy will bond with her since she's in the same boat right now. It'll be the first step towards Steffy and Hope making peace like Liam wants. In the meantime, it looks like Luna will catch Finn off guard with an unexpected visit to the Cliff House. Finn surely won't appreciate the ambush and may push Luna to leave immediately, but she'll beg for a chance to speak to him. Luna will make an emotional plea to Finn now that they know about their father-daughter connection. B&B spoilers say Luna tried to tug at Finn's heartstrings and make him see that he's too good of a man to walk away from his child. Although Luna's words should affect Finn, he may stand his ground on keeping Luna at a distance. Steffy has forbidden Luna from having any kind of a relationship with her dad, and Finn should continue to back her up on that for now. Even so, the bold and the beautiful spoilers say Luna won't give up on being a real family with Finn and Sheila Sharp, so stay tuned for any strategy updates she might make. Why there's no hope for Carter and Hope's bold and the beautiful future. The bold and the beautiful's Carter is desperate to win back his Hope, but is this really a love match that is meant to be? Mismatched from the start. Who really buys this absurd idea that Carter Walton had been carrying a torch for Hope Logan for years, and looked at her longingly from afar when she began her romance with Thomas Forrester in Rome? Carter. The man who falls in love at the drop of a hat and nearly married Zoe Buckingham and her sister Paris Buckingham? The man who was ready to give it all up for Quinn Fuller? The man who romanced Katie Logan? All that time he was in love with Hope? We're expected to believe that? And what about Hope? When did she ever even notice that Carter existed? She was too wrapped up in everything Liam Spencer for years before she finally gave Thomas Forrester the time of day. Then, the second Carter paid her some attention, she was suddenly in love. Simply does not make sense. Carter is Hope's sunshine? Who else looked at Hope like she had two heads when she told Carter he was the sunshine in her life? When did they share slow dances in his living room on a regular basis? When did this romance take place? And how long did it last before they plotted their little coup? 3 weeks, if that. Then there is Daphne Rose. While Carter has been proclaiming his undying love for Hope, he has also been kissing Daphne backstage at Forrester Creations because he is Carter and this is what he does. He apparently learned how to waffle between women like Rich Forrester and Liam. While Hope has no future with Liam due to his brain tumor, she has less of a future with Carter, because their romance makes absolutely no sense and Carter can't remain faithful. Liam may think that Carter is the man for Hope, but what if the man for Hope is still out there somewhere, perhaps in Paris? Steffy tells Hope the heartbreaking truth about Liam. Bold and beautiful Steffy has been imploring Liam to tell Hope about his devastating prognosis since she found out about it, and as viewers know, he hasn't been able to bring himself to do it, even when the perfect opportunity presented itself as he experienced pain while face-to-face with his ex-wife. But the situation is set to hit a tipping point. Here's a first look at how it plays out when Hope finally learns the heartbreaking truth. Steffy's arrival. Steffy makes the decision to visit Hope at Brooke's house, but she has no idea what she is in for. Did Liam already tell Hope he's dying? Or is she still in the dark? If that's the case, Steffy will be faced with making a difficult decision. Should she respect Liam's wishes to keep this information from Hope? Or let her nemesis in on the truth? Given Steffy has said Hope deserves to know, fans had best have their tissue boxes at the ready. Hope Steffy BNB opening attacks. Hope greets Steffy in the spirit of their current relationship, which is adversarial. She won't be thrilled by the intruder's arrival because she won't be aware of what's going on with Liam. Given this is bold and beautiful, we're sure there will be a rehashing of their entire past up to, and including the coup and Hope's firing before they get down to the real reason for Steffy's visit. Steffy Hope BNB. The lead-up. Hope won't have much trouble reading the room, what with Steffy obviously on the verge of breaking down. With Liam moving in with Finn and Steffy, urging her to reconcile with Carter, and giving unsettling speeches such as, "I've been really blessed to have you in my life all this time." Her spidey senses have already been telling her that something is off. Add wincing and tears to the mix, and it's no wonder Hope's bewildered by his behavior of late. Therefore, when Steffy grows emotional and announces she has to tell her something about Liam, Hope is going to immediately feel a sense of dread. Making headlines knowing it's the right thing to do, Steffy decides to break her promise to Liam and tell Hope the heartbreaking truth. She knows with everything in her that if the roles were reversed, she would want to know. She would want the time to not only get ready for herself, but also to make plans for how she will deal with the devastating loss of her young daughter. Steffy is giving Hope the consideration she would want to be given. As she said herself, the enormity of losing Liam puts everything that's divided them into perspective. In light of this information, it is of little significance. Steffy cry BNB. What will Hope do? The Bold and the Beautiful reached an emotional boiling point on the May 7th episode when Steffy Forrester did the unthinkable, going behind her ex-husband Liam Spencer's back, and breaking the news to Hope Logan of his terminal brain tumor. This unleashed a wave of emotional reckoning that sent shockwaves through every storyline that revolved around the Spencer-Logan-Forrester triangle. Well, we'll have to wait to see that play out on screen, but as one would expect, this will Steffy, unable to bear the emotional weight of Liam's silence any longer, chose to betray his confidence for what she viewed as a higher moral imperative. Truth, closure, and shared grief. What began as a typical day of layered tensions, secret-keeping, and misguided alliances soon degenerated into a brutal moment of truth. Steffy, in particular, took a desperate step into morally ambiguous territory that could either earn her redemption or ruin depending on how the fallout lands, and the episode unfolded with surgical precision, anchoring its emotional core in the raw vulnerability of its characters. As Liam lingered under the roof of Steffy and Finn's Malibu cliff house, quietly preparing for a fate he believed he must face alone, Hope was blindsided across town at Brooke's home by the arrival of her longtime rival, and sometimes friend, bearing a secret that would forever shatter her understanding of the present and shake loose every future possibility she had quietly dared to imagine. The day began deceptively quietly at Il Giardino, where Deacon Sharp summoned Brooke Logan not for a romantic rendezvous or to discuss Sheila's latest descent into chaos, but instead to air his growing concerns about their daughter, Hope. Deacon was deeply uneasy at the idea of Hope falling back into the arms of Carter Walton, a man he viewed as more rebound than redeemer, despite Carter's obvious longing to rebuild what they lost. Deacon, whose own journey from criminal to father has been marked by missteps and a desire for redemption, couldn't reconcile Hope's romantic history with Carter's checkered track record in love, particularly given Carter's tendency to fall fast and foolishly, as evidenced by his dalliances with Zoe, Paris, Quinn, and Katie. Deacon subtly switched the conversation to Liam, revealing that he still believed in the possibility of a Logan Spencer reunion, despite all the water under that particular bridge, while Brooke continued to offer her maternal perspective, advocating for Hope's autonomy and defending Carter's genuine feelings. Meanwhile, across town at Forrester Creations, the emotional undercurrent swirled through the hallways as Daphne Rose delicately pried into Carter's emotional state, sensing that he wasn't just professionally frustrated about Hope's exit from the company, he was personally lost. Daphne was concerned that Carter's insatiable hope for a second chance and his lingering guilt were equally at the root of his desire to bring Hope back. Viewers could almost feel the futility seeping through the phone lines as Carter called Hope with one of his sincere pleas. His words were desperate, but they couldn't keep up with the tsunami of reality that was about to hit them all. Over at Brooke's house, Hope welcomed Liam in, unaware that this visit might be one of his last quiet moments with her. Though Liam didn't drop the emotional anvil of his condition, he did request more time with Beth, framing it in terms of father-daughter bonding without revealing the real reason, that he might not have many days left to spend with her. Hope, always an intuitive mother and ex-wife, realized that there was more going on and brought up Liam's baffling decision to move in with Steffy and Finn. Why, she wondered aloud, was Liam so willing to put himself in that precarious emotional situation, one that echoed their own tangled past and Steffy's complicated marriage to Finn? But Liam, battling the weight of his diagnosis and his fierce desire to protect the people he loves from grief, dodged again. Moments later, back at the Cliff House, he confessed to Finn that he still wasn't ready to bring Hope into the truth, insisting on doing things on his terms. It was a noble thought, rooted in pride and fear, but one that Steffy simply couldn't abide by anymore. As Liam opened up to Finn, unaware of Steffy's inner turmoil, she was already making up her mind. Steffy, deeply shaken by Liam's condition and even more rattled by her inability to protect him, made a fateful decision. She would tell Hope everything, even if it meant violating Liam's wishes and risking his trust. When Steffy arrived at Brooke's, the tone shifted palpably. Gone was the steely, self-assured Zoe. In her place was a woman on the verge of tears, racked with dread and barely able to contain her sobs. Hope, immediately sensing the gravity of the visit, asked whether they were alone, clearly unsettled by Steffy's uncharacteristic vulnerability. What began as cautious small talk quickly morphed into an emotional avalanche as Steffy revealed that she wasn't there on business. It was personal, and it was about Liam. Hope initially resisted the seriousness of Steffy's words. Seemed impossible. This was Liam, steady, stubborn, always resilient. Surely Steffy was mistaken. Surely the medical professionals had erred. Surely Liam wasn't dying. Hope was forced to confront a reality she had never anticipated by Steffy's tears and trembling voice, as she described the collapse, emergency surgery, and discovery of the inoperable mass. All of it was true. Liam had been concealing his terminal brain tumor from everyone except Steffy and Finn. Hope, his most recent ex-wife and the mother of his daughter Beth, had been kept in the dark, while Steffy, who had once shared a child with Liam and had loved him through countless cycles of heartbreak and reunion, had become both his caregiver and his confidant in a devastating turn of events. And now, in a single explosive conversation, everything had changed. As she took in the enormity of the fact that the man she had once imagined growing old with, the man who had supported her through both triumph and tragedy, was dying, Hope's world turned on its axis. Her disbelief gave way to grief, grief gave way to guilt, and guilt gave way to an overwhelming desire to be close to Liam. In the wake of the revelation, the Logan-Forrester rivalry softened, at least for a moment, as Steffy and Hope shared a rare bond, grief. As Steffy spoke of Liam's bravery, his refusal to wallow, and his desire to spend meaningful time with his daughters, the women reached an emotional understanding. Hope, heartbroken, realized that whatever lingering animosity she felt toward Steffy was irrelevant in the face of this tragedy. Even though Steffy had a history of disagreeing with Hope and acting in a controlling manner, she was aware that she had done the right thing, even though Liam would never forgive her. This painful act of betrayal might become the first step toward healing a relationship fractured by years of love triangle warfare. Across town, though, another emotional minefield was brewing. Luna Nozawa, desperate to establish a connection with her newly revealed biological father, John Finn Finnegan, made an unsanctioned visit to the Cliff house. Her appearance caught Finn off guard, and while he had every reason to slam the emotional door shut on Luna, especially given Steffy's strict no-contact rule, he also couldn't ignore the emotional resonance of Luna's plea. Luna's appeal was deeply emotional and morally thorny, because she was torn between her desire to forge a relationship with Sheila Sharp and her biological connection to Finn. She didn't want to be kept at arm's length. She desired a real family, no matter how messy or unconventional. Finn, still reeling from the Liam situation and struggling to preserve peace in his home, resisted. For now, at least, he chose loyalty to Steffy over biology. However, given that Liam's illness continues to test loyalties and fracture boundaries, the seeds Luna planted may soon germinate. The emotional complexity of these intertwined storylines highlights what The Bold and the Beautiful does best: force its characters into impossible emotional corners, and then watch as their choices ripple through the lives around them. Steffy's betrayal wasn't born out of malice or vengeance, but desperation. Her need to share the burden of Liam's diagnosis, her belief that Hope deserved to know, and her desire for unity in the face of looming death, all collided into a single decision that may change everything. Hope's grief, on the other hand, will almost certainly manifest in a variety of complex ways, including a desire to be with Liam once more, guilt over the absence of time, and regret for not noticing the warning signs. And then there's Liam, whose noble but naive quest to protect everyone from his fate has backfired in the most painful way. He wanted control and now he has none. The truth is out, and the women who have loved him the most are now carrying the burden together, whether he likes it or not. As for Carter, his romantic hopes for a second chance with Hope now seem more absurd than ever. In light of Liam's diagnosis, Carter's pursuit of love feels shallow, misaligned with the gravity of what Hope is experiencing. Despite Daphne's well-meaning encouragement, Carter remains a man adrift in his own idealism, failing to grasp that Hope's heart is no longer accessible, not when it's about to be broken into 1,000 pieces. Steffy's shocking revelation and the consequences for Hope, Liam, and Carter in The Bold and the Beautiful. The latest episode of The Bold and the Beautiful delivered an emotional bombshell as Steffy Forrester took matters into her own hands and revealed Liam Spencer's grim fate to Hope Logan. This dramatic turn of events has sent shockwaves through the lives of multiple characters, reigniting old tensions, forcing difficult decisions, and raising questions about love, loyalty, and the future. The episode was packed with high-stakes confrontations, heartbreaking confessions, and the kind of soap opera twists that keep fans glued to their screens. Deacon's concerns and Brooke's advice. The drama began at Il Giardino, where Deacon Sharp expressed his unease to Brooke Logan about Hope's potential rekindled romance with Carter Walton. Despite his initial panic upon finding Hope and Carter together, Deacon managed to keep his emotions in check, barely. However, he made it clear that he didn't see Carter as the right man for his daughter. Brooke, ever the optimist, defended Carter's feelings for Hope and insisted that Deacon needed to let Hope make her own romantic choices. But Deacon, never one to stay silent, pivoted to pushing Liam as Hope's best option, unaware of the devastating secret Liam was hiding. Meanwhile, at Forrester Creations, Carter struggled with his lingering feelings for Hope. Daphne Rose, perceptive as ever, sensed his turmoil and suggested that his guilt over Hope's forced departure from the company was clouding his judgment. Despite Daphne's gentle nudging to move on, Carter remained steadfast in his determination to bring Hope back both professionally and romantically. His phone call to Hope, where he vowed not to give up on their future, only reinforced his single-minded focus. But with Liam's secret now exposed, Carter's hopes may be dashed before he even gets a real chance. Liam's secret and Steffy's intervention. At Brooke's house, Liam's visit with Hope was filled with unspoken tension. Hope could sense that something was weighing heavily on him, but Liam, ever the martyr, refused to burden her with the truth about his inoperable brain tumor. Instead, he focused on securing more time with their daughter Beth, a request Hope happily granted. Yet, his evasiveness about his living arrangements with Steffy and Finn only deepened her suspicions. Back at the Cliff House, Liam confided in Finn, admitting that he couldn't bring himself to tell Hope the truth. But Steffy, never one to sit idly by, had already made up her mind. Ignoring Liam's wishes, she stormed over to Brooke's house, determined to deliver the heartbreaking news herself. Steffy's emotional confession. Hope was stunned when Steffy arrived unannounced, and the tension between them was palpable. Steffy's tearful demeanor immediately set off alarm bells for Hope, who grew increasingly unsettled as Steffy struggled to find the right words. Finally, Steffy dropped the bombshell. Liam is dying. The revelation left Hope reeling, her shock and disbelief written across her face. Steffy's decision to go behind Liam's back was driven by her belief that Hope deserved to know the truth, especially since it directly impacted Beth's future. In Steffy's eyes, keeping such a monumental secret was unfair, and she couldn't bear the weight of it alone. The emotional confrontation marked a rare moment of vulnerability between the two rivals, as Steffy's tears and Hope's stunned silence underscored the gravity of the situation. The fallout, Hope's reaction and Luna's bold move. As Thursday's episode approaches, Hope will undoubtedly struggle to process the news. Initially, she may refuse to believe it, clinging to the hope that there's been some mistake. But Steffy will lay out the full, devastating truth: Liam's collapse, the emergency surgery, and the grim prognosis from his doctors. The reality of losing Liam will force Hope to confront emotions she thought she had buried, and Steffy's unexpected empathy may pave the way for a fragile truce between them. Meanwhile, Luna Nozawa will make a bold move by paying Finn an unexpected visit at the Cliff House. Still reeling from the revelation that Finn is her biological father, Luna is determined to forge a connection with him despite Steffy's firm stance against it. Finn, caught between loyalty to his wife and the unexpected pull of fatherhood, may resist at first. But Luna's emotional plea, that he's too good a man to reject his own child, could plant seeds of doubt in his mind. The end of Hope and Carter? Amidst the chaos, Carter's desperate attempts to win Hope back seem increasingly futile. Their relationship has always felt forced, more like a plot device than a genuine love story. Hope's sudden declaration that Carter was the sunshine in her life rang hollow, especially given their lack of meaningful history. Meanwhile, Carter's track record of falling in and out of love makes his supposed undying devotion to Hope hard to believe.